Hey, winning your draft is all about winning those value picks at the end. So let's jump into some more sleepers that you should be keeping an eye on. Hey Headliner Nation, welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Headliners, bringing you some more sleepers this time. Some guys that on draft day you want to pay attention to at the back end of your draft. Some owners may have forgotten about them at this point, but you don't want to forget about them because they could end up helping you out. Let's jump into it and start talking about these guys right away. And the first one is going to be Cincinnati Reds pitcher Anthony DeSclafani. This is a kid who I liked a couple of years ago, and he showed out. He had a career year in 2016. He didn't get started until about June of that year, had a 3.28 ERA over 123 innings, struck out 105 guys. 8.8 hits per 9 innings, 2.2 walks per 9 innings, 7.7 strikeouts per 9 innings. He had a really good, solid season. And heading into 2017, when he would have only been 27 years old, we thought he could have built on that. But unfortunately, the guy has been riddled with a lot of injuries. He had an issue straining an elbow ligament in 2017. He didn't have to have surgery, but it did cost him the entire season. Last season, 2018, thought he was going to bounce back, but unfortunately he had an issue with an oblique and he just wasn't really right the rest of the season. A 4.93 ERA for 2018. But keep an eye on him because he does have upside. He's only going to be 29 years old this year. Last couple of years, again, a lot of injuries, so people are going to forget about him. If DeSclafani makes it past the draft, he's definitely a person to put on your watch list because if he shows up and he's healthy, he'll look good. He's looked good in spring training so far. The Reds think that this is a guy that is healthy and ready to lead this pitching staff, so don't forget about him. If you're somebody like me who likes to draft starting pitchers later on and take some lottery tickets instead of spending a lot of high draft picks on starting pitching, then this is a guy that could really show a lot of help, especially if you take some guys who don't end up working out. The next guy on the list is Garrett Hampson, second baseman out of Colorado. Right now slated to start at second base for the Colorado Rockies. He's going to hit towards the bottom of the order. He's not a prospect that a lot of people probably heard a lot about coming into this year, but last season in Colorado in 2018, he played extremely well while he was up. He hit 275. He stole a couple of bags, 1 triple, 3 doubles. But he has a lot of stolen base potential. In 2016, he stole 36 bags. In 2017, he stole 51 bags. And then across all leagues, in the minor leagues last year, 36 stolen bases. So in the minor leagues, this is a guy that offers you the potential of stealing at least 30 bags, if not more, in a season. So if you are hurting for stolen base potential and you need some of that, then Garrett Hampson is a guy that you should draft to stick on your bench for the time being. And then you have somebody that you could slot in for stolen bases. Hitting in Coors Field, obviously we know what kind of upside he's going to have there. Could hit for a decent average. He's always hit for a decent average. 315 average in the minor leagues. So if this is a guy 63 doubles too, so a little bit of extra base pop. Won't hit a whole lot of home runs, only 20 home runs. He's only hit 10 home runs in a season, which was last year, so he's not going to have a whole lot of home run power, but stolen bases and average, if you need those two categories, then Garrett Hampson is somebody that you also want to keep an eye on draft day. Another outfielder or another hitter that you want to keep an eye on is outfielder Domingo Santana for the Seattle Mariners. Almost said Seahawks because so much football going on right now. But for the Seattle Mariners, Domingo Santana, loved this kid when he was back in Houston. He had a lot of power upside. Didn't really materialize while he was in Houston. Traded away, goes to Milwaukee, and we all thought the breakout was going to happen, or he was going to continue on that breakout in 2018 because in 2017 he hit 278, 30 home runs, 85 RBIs. Last season, however, only 85 games for the Milwaukee Brewers, 265, 5 home runs, 20 RBIs, struck out 77 times and 235 at bats. It just wasn't there last season. Wasn't great, but he is in Seattle now. He's with the Mariners now. It's a big ballpark. It's not going to be nearly as friendly to hit in as some other ballparks, but you still don't want to forget about him out there. If he's one of the starting outfielders, this is a guy with legit 30 home run upside. If you wait on outfielders, if you just need some extra depth at outfielder, if you play on a league that maybe has up to 5 outfield spots that you can fill, a lot of leagues will have 5 outfielders that you have to put into the lineup because of how deep the position is. If that happens, then Domingo Santana deserves our attention. Now, are we going to draft him as high as we did last year? Absolutely not. He might sneak through in some shallow leagues. He might sneak through to waivers. I don't really see that happening too much. The kid still is only 26 years old, though, so he could be entering his prime. There was an outfielder that not too long ago was released by the Houston Astros. He just didn't materialize there. They released him. Not quite the same thing with Santana. They didn't release him, but that was J.D. Martinez. After he left Houston, he became one of the better power hitters, one of the better all-around hitters in Major League Baseball while he was with Detroit. So can Domingo Santana really up his value? I'm not saying he's J.D. Martinez, so don't blow me up in the comments, but can he up that value? Can he show us that 30 home run potential? Can he hit 265, 270? We know the possibility is there, so don't miss out on him if you get that value on draft day, or you can grab him off waivers later on. If he finds it, he's going to be a steal. Final guy to talk about today, Michael Fulmer from Detroit. He's not going to be drafted in a lot of leagues. I know that, and I'm not just homering on him because I'm a Detroit Tigers fan. But I've watched him closely, and I know he's got what it takes to be a very good starting pitcher in the major leagues. Won the Rookie of the Year in 2016 and 159 innings pitched, a 3.06 ERA, and 132 strikeouts. In 2017, he was an All-Star. Not as good of a season. A 3.83 ERA, did go up to 164 innings. But the issue now at this point is last season, you're going to look at that 3-12, a 4.69 ERA. He's been hurt, though. He's been dealing with a lot of elbow problems. He's been trying to come back and forth. But not even elbow problems. He's got lots of different issues at this point. He had lots of different issues. He is wearing a brace on his knee right now in spring training. The velocity is a little bit down right now. And he got roughed up in his first start. So that value continues to go down for Michael Fulmer. But if he can get healthy and he can get back into that rotation, Michael Fulmer is a guy that he could provide you a starting pitcher 4 or 5 type numbers, and you could get him super late in the draft, or maybe not even in the draft at all. This is definitely a guy who keeps falling outside of the draft in a lot of places, and because he's falling outside of the draft, he's going to be super cheap. Just like DeSclafani, if you wait on starting pitching, the name of the game the rest of the way is finding value on the waiver wire and finding value really, really late in drafts. Fulmer could do that. DeSclafani could also do that for starting pitchers, because we're really just putting them in the back of our minds. Injuries with pitchers, we don't like that. We forget about them. But if you wait too long, when they start to get back to being healthy and then they look good, they're gone at that point. So you have to be able to jump a little bit early on them, and I think you could start doing that with both of these guys. DeSclafani is a guy that I would jump on a little bit sooner, as in right now. Fulmer is a guy that I would probably wait a little bit more on just to see in spring training. Wait for that velocity come back a little bit, make sure he is healthy, and when that happens, then you got to go ahead and go. Hampson and Santana, both are guys I think you should really be keeping an eye on draft day for sure. Quick video, quick hitting, just 4 players I wanted to toss out there for you, some sleepers. Again, we're getting into draft season. Time is money. You need as much information as possible, and that's what we do here. We toss out that information, our picks for you. You watch it, you make the decision, and then we go from there. So thanks for tuning in to this quick hitting episode of Fantasy Baseball Sleepers. I'm Kyle Richardson. If you don't know who I am yet, make sure you follow me on Twitter at krich1532. But more importantly than anything, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment below. We're one of the most interactive channels here on YouTube. Make sure you comment. If you're new to Headliner Nation, let us know so we can welcome you. And if you have any other fantasy baseball questions, continue to check out all of our shows and ask below, and we'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.